Welcome back everyone, I'm Kate Plays Games, this is Snowrunner, and as you can see, I have brought the Lodestar all the way to Drummond Island. We're approaching the end of the Drummond Island map, which is the fourth and final map of the original state of the game. What we're going to do with this guy, I want to investigate down here, because I haven't been down here. It could be, it's a grey zone and it's making me suspicious, so we're going to go and have a look what's down there. I have also done a little bit more off-camera work, and I have stationed the White Western Star with its big heavy crane. He's down at the fuel station. He came in from the Island Lake Gateway. So let's see if we can't finish this map today. Of course, there is a lot more work still to do. There's all the cross-map orders, especially the log carrying. But we do now have a P12 to do that with. Just drive around that mud. Don't drive through the mud. Watch out for big rocks kicking their wheels up in the air. We must remember we do only have tiny little wheels on this Lodestar. I'm actually going to drive through this mud because too many rocks on the left hand side and it's too steep a camber. Do not want to get flipped over here. There's nothing to winch onto to pull myself back on my wheels. Yeah, we had another oopsie with the Paystar. Again, it was my own fault. A moment of inattention and the rear wheels of a trailer slipped off a trail, and Cousin Cletus's 2 oil barrels are now back on the floor. And that's what the Western White Star is here to pick up. Let's just go to low gear for this guy. Grind our way through this mud. Okay, I'm seeing yellow hatchings in that little trailer park, so we'll go and investigate what this is. Silent Observer. Okay, they want us to go and go somewhere. Silent Observer, yeah. I thought there was a hill climbing objective and I've found it. So now we want to get this little dude to go down here and get up here and then get up there and then come down here and visit this. And that'll be Forged by the Sea and the Silent Observer done. And then the little Lodestar. No, we then need to get the White Western Star to clear this road so we can come down this way and get this Scout 800, or we may try going along this tiny little route with the Lodestar. Might try that. I'm going to have to be very careful with the White Western Star because it is very top heavy with that crane, and it's got to go all the way along the forest trail that the Paystar went along. But at least it's got 300 litres of fuel and not 240 like the Paystar has. I brought my favourite little scout trailer, the tiny little service trailer, which has got a little bit of repair points, a little bit of fuel, but it is very light and very narrow, and it's just like you're towing a feather. And it's relatively stable. I mean, it bounces around a lot, but it doesn't tip over because it's so low and stable. Here we are at Cargo Junction, so named because I've left all the cargo here. I still don't know what happens to these concrete slabs. No idea what happens to those, but I'm not going to delete them until I know that we don't need them. I do have a distinct feeling we're going to need them, because we do know that on some maps, when you complete one task, another task shows up. It happened on Smithfield Dam when we handed in the first 4 oil barrels that went missing. Another task popped up for us to go and find another 3. And I should have turned right here. Let's just hook into something and drag myself round. And this underwater mud bit looks worse than it is. It's actually not too bad. It's mostly dirt that's under here. Okay, this looks a little bit dangerous. This looks a little bit muddy, but it's fine. Lodestar S-class power to weight ratio and nice tyres. Okay, the only thing we're missing for the Lodestar is the race suspension, which we'll get in Alaska, and that'll let us put the big wheels on this thing. But it's just pootling along quite nicely. Okay, another muddy river crossing. See how far we can get through our momentum. The answer to that is not very, but it looks like there's some trees we can winch onto. I'm just going to shift into low gear Because I don't want to churn up the mud too much, because I might need to come back this way. I'm going to try and drive around this tree to the left, because I don't want to go over it and despawn it. I might need it on the way back. See, there's another fallen tree on the left at the top of the hill that we might be able to hook into if we need to. But low gear seems to be doing the job. Nicely done, little scout. Very nicely done. Alright, nice one. And we're done. I am going to detach the trailer, because we need to get... It's another little hill climb, very similar to what we did on Black River, was it? I think it was the first map. I think it was Black River that we did the first two hill climbs. So we need to get up this hill to do Silent Observer. So a scout is the best thing for that. Again, be very careful, because there are not many things to hook into if you roll over. Just take your time. Keep the camera moving. Think ahead. See a big hole there, so we'll just line ourselves up. Do a bit of scrambling. Oh, this doesn't appear to be quite as high as the ones we did in Black River. It's probably because there's a hidden camera or something. Okay, what am I stuck on? A rock? That little rock? Really? No, two big rocks in a hole. Very annoying. Oops. Oops. Excuse me, Mr. Rocks. Don't mind me coming through. Ooh. If I was feeling dangerous, I'd try and drive straight up that, but I'm not. I'm not feeling dangerous today. I'm going to go up the prescribed method. God damn tree roots. Okay, what's the problem here? Yep. Wibbly wobbly slidey rocks. So we'll just have to try and get round them, kick them out the back. Ugh. I hate that these rocks move. It's the worst thing. Oh, blimey, that's a great big rock there. We'll just try and squeeze in between them. Yeah. I'll accept the damage. Don't care. I've got repair points on myself and a repair trailer at the bottom of the hill. More big rocks to scramble over. Oh, come on. Come on. Just get up the hill. Just get up the hill. Yay! Nothing else up here. Now we've got to get back down. That's the dangerous bit, because that's what killed us last time. Forge by the sea. That's what we need to be doing now. So we'll turn off there. Right, let's just spin the time on instead of turning the headlights on. Again, I just want to tickle the accelerator, let gravity do most of the acceleration. I was tempted again to just drive straight through here and down there, but don't want to tip over because there's nothing to winch onto up here. And I don't mind bumping and bashing my way down because I've got repair points on myself and we've got the little trailer at the bottom of the hill. So I will gladly take some damage. Oh, it tried to go over. It tried. Oh, that was a little bit scary. But We survived. Huzzah. Now I'm just gonna grab the trailer with the winch and then pull it round and then hook back in. Don't want it to go too fast. That's why I'm leaving the handbrake on. So I would just gently move the trailer around instead of tugging it, because then it might have flipped over. Right, let's get to this ship then, shall we? Now this was another notorious mission that the developers had to change, because this was another end game point. They saw on their data that end players would start this mission and then not complete it and end up never playing the game again. Again, I don't really want to drive through that mud with this vehicle, because this vehicle is narrow enough and light enough to skirt round the side. Spoilers, we're going to have to come back here with bigger trucks. There we go. Now later on there will be a mission to come down here and pick up 2 of these 4-slot cargo containers, like the ones we see down there, and deliver them somewhere. I think it's the warehouse in Smithfield Dam, so it's quite far away. But nowadays you will get a yellow hatching here on this little bit of ground, so you just come here, pick them up and leave. Before they changed the game, they used to physically spawn all the way down at that end of the boat, like down there on the beach. And that beach is just a huge mud pit. And players were getting stuck in there, and then they send another truck to rescue the first truck, and all that would happen is that when you were trying to do the winch, the 2 trucks would just be pulled together, and then you get the other truck stuck. Because this is the only tree strong enough to winch onto, and it's a million miles away from the beach. And they were getting multiple trucks stuck down there, because you had to come down here with a heavy crane to pick up the cargo, and then another truck with a cargo flatbed to accept the cargo. And multiple trucks were being stuck there, and people were quitting the game and never playing again. So they've changed it now, so it's automatic. So we'll just park this thing kind of on the road, and then we'll go and get the White Western. And the White Western will try and clear this road so we can get past. See, you're going to have to bring a truck down here which can hold 4 slots of cargo. I would not recommend bringing the twin steer, because it's very long and very stiff. No laughing at the back. And you will never get it down this road without it flipping over. It's just too big. So your best bet is either the ramped flatbed trailer or a 5-slot semi-trailer of some description. Now when you're coming here with a big truck, you actually do want to drive through this mud pit and just winch yourself through with all these lovely big trees on the right hand side. Because if you try and do what we're doing and get on top of this little dry ridge with a big truck, you'll either slip to the left or you'll slip to the right, and both cases means that you lose your 4-slot cargo. So do actually go straight through the mud, keep your truck level and use the winch to get yourself through. I'll give you that advice again when we're actually doing that mission. God knows when that'll be, but it'll be sometime. I'm actually going deliberately through the reeds now because I've churned up all this mud on my previous excursion through this bit. And now we appear to be a little bit stuck, but I think there's a dead tree right there. Thank you developers for placing that tree in the correct spot. And I think we can now winch onto this one on this side. Yes we can. And we are out. Lovely. No, we didn't flip over doing a hill climb, so we're doing better than we did last time. Now we're in a different and more stable truck now, aren't we? And we've had more experience. And it was a much easier hill. This is quite narrow. So again, when you're coming here with a bigger truck, you might have to put your wheels up and over this. If you try and squeeze between it, you'll probably end up bursting a tyre. It's another reason why you use scouts, to actually scout. Now you want to check each route at least once before you do it. That's why when I start a map, I typically do go round and open all the watchtowers first, if I can, if they're accessible. On some of the other maps, you can't get to watchtowers until you've opened the bridge. In fact, that happened with this one. We had to rebuild a big bridge so we could get over and come to this watchtower from this side. I think we'll just park this little dude here. Goddamn fallen tree acting like a spear. Okay, engine off. Let's change to the White Western. Who's fully fueled, ready to go. Let's plan the route. Up here, up here, up here. Turn right. Over the bridge. Turn right. All the way through the forest. Ugh. Into here. I was going to say, or we can come down here, through here, over the river, but then we're the wrong side of that narrow route. So this is the only way we can take it. I've never found any other way. I mean, these trees are too dense and the hill's too steep. I've looked for a scramble over these rocks, but I've never found another route. I have looked everywhere. So hopefully we'll get there with a decent amount of fuel still on board. And that's not bad. We're here at the forest turnoff and we've only burned 40 litres of fuel. We've still got 260 remaining, which is 20 more than the Paystar has when it's completely full. Okay. Concentration time. Just be very careful. You're very top heavy. You're very wide. That's going to snag on that tree, but luckily it's a little one. But we have at least come this route before, so we know what to expect. Big muddy pit and the muddy hill. Just let gravity do that for us. Just doing it in auto, so happy days. Okay, then it goes between these two trees. And then it goes down to the right. I'm actually braking now. And then there's this little hairpin thing, which I think we can avoid by going between these two trees. Yes. Right, what are we stuck on? We'll just winch ourselves sideways a little bit. I think one of the legs, I think this leg was stuck on the crest of the hill. But a little bit of gentle encouragement with the winch got us back out. Need to be careful here. There's a little off-camber shimmy. Just like gravity, pull us round that corner very gently. Same with this, I'm just under gravity, big rock on the right. Scrambled over just fine. Let's activate Cousin Cletus, because that's what we're doing. And this is where everything fell down the hill. including the Paystar, but luckily the Paystar landed on its side, leaning up against a tree, which was just enough of an angle for us to keep the engine running and grab on with the winch and pull ourselves upright again. Okay, now we have issues. The issues being that we're now facing the wrong way, because we want to go back the other way with all this stuff that we're going to rescue. Now, do we use the winch to winch the back of our truck onto the back of that trailer and pull the trailer up to the left and then flip it back round and then park the truck kind of there on this flat bit and use the big crane to get the oil drums? I think that's probably the smart play. Okay, let's get ourselves on the dry rocky ground, put the handbrake on, hope that holds us. It should do. This is one of these lightweight trailers, so it's not particularly difficult to winch. Ah yeah, even in basic medium winch is pulling it. Lovely jubbly. Okay, now what do we do? Let's get the crane out, put the riggers out, and I want to attach the crane to that winching point there, and then just use the winch to get this thing back on its wheels. Yes, and it landed against that rock so it didn't overcompensate and go flying back down the hill. Nice. Let me just change the camera. Do we think there's enough room on the left hand side of that for us to get this truck down the side of it? I think probably not. So I'm going to put the crane away and I'm going to reverse a little bit. And I'm going to hope that's still within winching distance. Yes, it is. And pull the trailer further up the hill. Maybe all the way to this birch tree. Probably to about there. It looks like it's on level ground now. This is good. Now we have to get ourselves out of here. Ugh. And then... Oh, no, my front wheel's caught in that birch. And just tickle the accelerator a little bit. Is the truck kind of steady? Yeah. Let's put the outriggers out. Hope they don't knock the trailer over. Well, they booped it, but it didn't knock it over. This is good. Yeah, the camera angle's all horrible, but you know, we'll fix it. I want this wide angle so I can keep an eye on what the White Western's doing when I'm grabbing these oil things. Yeah, you see this little bush here under the front right exploded because we're actually pulling the front wheels of the truck off the ground. Which ain't great, but that's where we are. That's the boom as short as it goes. But of course we can just move it up. So I really want this one to go at the back end. I am going to be quite deliberate about this and actually get them actually in the trailer. And usually we just drop it, but I want to make sure they're actually nestled in the trailer. Like so. Oops. And we kind of got lucky as to where this happened. It could have been much, much worse. I need to put the boom down so I'm pulling it straight instead of pulling it up. Yeah, that's more like it. Alright, rescue mission number 2. Looks like it's kind of almost sort of maybe complete. We made a good plan when we got here and we put it into action, and so far it seems to be working. Just get a little bit more to the this way, and then lovely. That looks really good. Restore crane. Okay. Now all we have to do is turn this truck around, get it between this trailer and this rock without flipping over, and then reverse in, hook into the trailer, pack the cargo, and be on our merry way. How are we going to turn this truck around? Kinda... Can we Austin Powers it? You know... Don't particularly want to do that, because if I touch that trailer, it's going to go down the hill and tip over, and then we'll be back where we started. So, I think... Oh, come on, guy. Ah, we're stuck on that tree root. But Mr. Winch will rescue us. Screw you, Mr. Tree Root. Screw you. Okay, I think we can do a 3-pointer here. This looks alright-ish. Yeah, we'll just back up here. Yes. See these exposed tree roots? The absolute devil. Yeah, they're trying to catch the legs of the crane. Not great. But we'll just do another bit of Austin Powers movement. And hopefully we can... See, there's nothing to hook into on the right hand side. So I'm going to do this with the handbrake on. No, I'm not. I'm going to go low gear and diff lock. Just to manually reduce our speed. Yes. That looks pretty good. Okay. Auto. And... Actually, I want to just move a little bit further ahead. We need to line this up perfectly. Ah, damn it, that was not perfect. We need to turn, but we don't want the front wheels to go off down the hill. I really don't want to try and winch that trailer closer, because I have the feeling it might just go tearing off down the hill on its own. Okay, that looks pretty good. It is good. We've packed the cargo. Yeah, now all we have to do is to get it all the way back out here. Ay caramba. And all the way to Cletus's house. Okay, we've got a little bit of fuel on the Lodestar. Now we do actually need to back up a little bit more. And then take this bit a lot more carefully than we did with the Paystar. We just took one corner a little bit too tight, and then the back end of the trailer straight down the hill. So we'll take this wide to accommodate the trailer, which tipped over anyway. My dude, what is your issue? Could you just flip yourself back onto your wheels, please? And then repack the cargo. Jesus, man. These goddamn tippy flippy lightweight trailers, honestly. Right, I'm low gear and diff locking this, that's for damn sure. So I mean, they've got no suspension. All the wheels are right on the very corner, so as soon as they hit something, the whole thing just goes up in the air. They are an absolute disaster, and that's why I despise these ones. That's why I always buy the flatbed one. Centre of gravity is lower. They've got 8 wheels. They're much more stable. They're much heavier. They're much better than these pieces of shit. In fact, I'm going to just stay on low gear and diff lock as long as I can on this journey back, just to keep my speed really low. Now the trailer is not going to be happy about going over that big rock, so I'm immediately going back to reverse and take it a little bit wider if we can. Screw you, Mr. Trailer. Okay, in between these two trees. That's a little bit tip-tastic. But if we go slow, we might survive. Now we have a problem. This camber here between these two trees looks really extreme, but to get around this corner we're going to have to go up and then round between these two trees. And it looks really tight, but I think it's the only way we're going to be able to do it. So we're going to have to go all the way up and then 3-point turn this to get the trailer round. Of course the trailer's stuck on a tree branch already, which isn't helping. Yeah, I think that was the only way we were going to be able to pull that off. We did it. Don't know how, but we did it. Between these two trees. And I think that's the worst of the forest route done. This is just this big mud pit, but we're going downhill now, so gravity will give us an assist. Okay, the bottom of this hill looks a little bit nasty. We've got to go off to the left, and it looks a little bit off camber. As long as we're still going slow. We should be alright. Oops, that's a little bit of a naughty little bump. So, diff lock, just to crawl our way out. In theory, the Paystar could have rescued all this cargo on its own, but it was running out of fuel. It only had something like 74 fuel left when that accident happened, so the smart choice was to go and get some fuel. Here you go, Mr. Cletus, or Mr. Cletus as it's written. Here are your 2 goddamn oil barrels. Ugh, what a dick. Mud wrestling. Oh yeah, we have to get this stupid little car. So, we're going to drop the White Western Star back at the fuel station, and then Mr. Lodestar is going to come and get this car. Right, Mr. Lodestar has been retrieved. He's just leaving the petrol station now. He's full of fuel. And we're going to take all the shortcuts to get this little car. We're going to come through the ravine. That's not the ravine. Yeah, we're going to go through this little windy trail, down the side of these barracks, over the river, and then we'll try and get here. It's by no means guaranteed we'll make it. Again, this is probably too narrow for a larger truck. That's why I've never used it before. Especially this little bit here, just coming up after this mud pit. Yeah, that's a real pinch point. Look at that. You think you're getting a pace star or a White Western through that gap? Along here, through these trees, lumpy bumpy, and a river crossing. Which looks nasty. Okay, when you're doing river crossings, if you angle your camera to look directly down, you can see through the water a bit better. Be careful when you're taking these steps ups on the rock, because it is sharp rock. It will burst your tyres if you take it at speed. So just slow to a halt, and then slowly tickle your way across. Front axle and rear axle. Make sure they both take it slowly. Go to the left here. You don't want to... You slide off there, you're going to end up in the water, and that's bad news. Alright, we made it! Hurrah! Okay. The passageway of doom. See, pace star, White Western, not making that in no way. And I know that from personal experience. And this bit's all horrible and bumpy as well. I'll just cut this little corner, go through here. Watch out for this big rock. Just bump up it gently. I said, bump up it gently. Thank you. And the rest of this road is just as narrow and horrible. So, what I may do is detach the trailer from here and go in alone. We've got repair points and fuel on our little flatbed pickup, so we should be okay. Because this is also very narrow and a 90-degree turn. And look how narrow this is. Just look at it. Yep, even the Lodestar's got stuck. Okay. Right, big tree, pull me round. Thank you, big tree. See, I've never found a way to scramble through these trees because they've got the big springy tree branches and they're too close together. And I've never found a way up and over these rocks to get down onto the farm. But I can illustrate that better in photo mode. See these rocks here? Never found a way to safely scramble up or down those from the farm. You know, come into the farm and then find a way up these rocks. I mean, theoretically you could winch yourself to this tree or even that tree with a long winch and drag yourself up the face, but I just don't see it. Don't see it happening. Okay, we're here. We made it, but we've now got to make it back, pulling this piece of crap behind us. First of all, we've got to get it out of the messes. As soon as we attach the winch, it's going to fall in the water. There we go. It's only a little baby scout car. Just shows you the difference in size in the load start and normal scouts. The load start is relatively large for a scout because it's really kind of a hybrid off-road / scout vehicle. Oh bugger! I'm going to have to pull that thing backwards a little bit more, I think. Okay, now we're hooked in. Let's have a look at this thing. Does it need repairing? No, it's fully intact. Does it need refueling? Yes. So I'm going to put a little bit of fuel in this thing. Just so if we need to, we can tell it to turn its engine on and it can push us from the back. Again, I don't mind taking little dings of damage now and again. I do have repair points on board. The only way I've found to do this mission is the hard way, and it's to drag it along the little roads. Never found a quick way of doing it. Again, I've tried going through this gap here, but the drop on the other side is too extreme. I'm pretty sure what I end up doing most of the time is deliberately trying to get my wheels up on these rocks and just drag myself round at an angle like this. You see, if you take that shortcut through these trees, this is a nasty camber, and that's too big a step, and that's too big a step. Right, let's release the truck. Go and get my little trailer. Hook back into that. And then get the trailer to hook into Scout 800 and pull that round the corner. And then strategize. The two options are try and make this turn again and then get back on the main road and deliver it, or turn right and do all the bits with the White Western Star just did, and then all the way down the road. I'm going to try and turn left and take the shorter route. And hope we can bully our way through. Stop taking damage at the back. I saw that. And we may need to go at a slight angle to get around this corner. And the Scout 800 is completely tipped over, but we've got enough power, we'll just bully our way through. It's rocking and rolling. I'm sure it'll land on its wheels at some point. And we're stuck in the mud, so let's winch ourselves out. And remember that we've left Scout 800 hanging, so we're going to have to winch that again. Oh, good. Okay, we made it. And now you see why I waited until we had the Lodestar to attempt that. There is no way of getting that thing with a medium truck, because you'll end up wedged at a 45-degree angle in these rocks. Ask me how I know. Here is your little truck, sir. Hey, barrel rolled. Okay. What's on the menu now? Logging. Or out with the old. Now this is a thing. If you remember all the way back to episode 2, when we brought one of these massive construction rig semi-trailers from here in Smithfield Dam to this drilling site, we're doing a very similar thing now. But we've got to bring it from Drummond Island, the port, from here, all the way along this road, all the way along this road, all the way along this road, all the way along the road, to the Smithfield Dam gateway. Because we have to take it to Smithfield Dam, which is this drilling site here. Now we could of course go the other way, all the way down the main road, and take it to Island Lake, and then go all the way along Island Lake main road and come out at this gateway, in which case the path to the drilling site would be up here, all the way through the swamp, all the way along the off-camber bit of the quarry, and then all the way over the dam, take this 90-degree bend, all the way through the farm, up this steep hill, all the way through the muddy log station, all the way down this muddy road, which is quite narrow and off-camber here, and then onto the drilling site. Or we come out of this gateway and take the long and winding road all the way down the mountain, and then over the dam, over the very tight hairpin. Remember, it's a really long and really wide trailer, and then through the farm, up the hill, all the way along there into the drilling site. Or we come out of this gateway, turn left, go down the hill and drag it over the river. Can you guess which one we're going to be doing? We're doing the fun path. We are going to take it to here, turn left, let gravity pull it all the way down this very steep hill, and then drag it over the river. Now this bit of the river is the only difficult bit. Once you get to here, you're fine. It's just easy. It's literally just a straight shot. The problem you have is that to get on, you have to get right down the side of this house in between these trees. And then this rock here, that exact rock there, is quite high and it can catch the legs of the trailer. So you need to swing your truck and the trailer out as far as you can, but you can't go very far because there's a steep drop, there's a cliff on either side. And then you need to swing it really tight and swing it right round. You need to line it up perfectly. Or you need to have a vehicle with a really high sitting, high saddle. Now we have 2 trucks in mind for this. If we actually go back to Smithfield Dam, A&K Civilian has just been given an upgrade to 190,000 nanometers. So it's got S plus power to weight. It's got all the power we'd ever need. Tyres wise, for that river crossing, I would usually go back to these tyres because they're a little bit narrower so that it can manoeuvre a little bit better. And grip wise, they're not that much worse than the OD2s. I was thinking especially for the front wheel, because these are softer and it has to bump its way up some of the rocks, and this could damage the suspension or pop the tyre, whereas this bigger, wider, softer tyre would let it clamber over. Or we can use Big Boy, because Big Boy's high saddle is on the top of his very high frame and on top of his 57-inch tyres. We'll probably leave him with his UOD2s. I'm not sure he gets OHS2s. He does. Now we could attempt that with this thing, with OHS 2s. That's maybe not the worst idea, because very wide, very soft. As you see, the tyres are kind of squishing themselves out because they're very soft. So these wide, soft 57-inch OHD 2s and a taller saddle. Now it does have the same engine as the ANK at 190,000 Newton meters, but it's a much heavier truck. That's why its power to weight is only B+. But I think we're going to try it with the Pacific P12. I'm not going to put the spare wheels on because A, I'm not planning on bursting my tyres, and B, even though the saddle is quite far back, I do want the ability to be able to turn quite tightly. So we'll just take those off and we'll put the high saddle on. So I think this is the thing we're going to use, because that high saddle's quite high, because that means that the big trailer is going to be sitting right all the way up here and its feet should be well off the floor. This thing has not got the best turning circle, but I think it's how we're going to attempt that river crossing. This is the way we're going to come with the trailer, so we do need to remember to stick to this side, the inland side, as much as we can, because it's a really nasty camber. You can try to take it round the back of these trees here, but there's lots of tree stumps that way, so I would not advise that. Right, headlights on to illuminate the rocks under the river. This bit is fairly chill. With a big heavy truck with 57-inch wheels, I mean, not a problem. And this is not the difficult bit of the crossing, this is the easy bit. This is the straight shot at the end. This island is okay, just stick to this side because it's less cumbersome, and then go straight over the flag. This bit is also okay. As you see, it's pretty much straight and then straight, and then a little turn here. Just watch out for these rocks, but as you see, our saddle is much higher than these rocks, so hopefully the legs will go over that rock. And this bit's okay. This rock is almost underwater, so I'm sure that legs will go over that. Just be careful here, this is the step up. Big soft tyres, not an issue. Okay, it is these rocks here, here and here that the legs of the trailer like to get stuck on. Because, as we see, to get onto this platform, you have to come down the side of this house and through these reeds and onto this part here. I'll go to photo mode actually. So you need to come this way. Yeah, that's a good angle. Right, so you need to come down the side of this house, avoid these tree stumps, and then down here, through these reeds, onto this platform here. Remember, it's quite a long trailer, so you need to get your truck all the way out to the right and then cut left. And this is where you get a problem, because if you don't move out enough to the right, the wheels of the trailer will fall off here and it goes into the drink. But when you go to the right, you've got to try and get your truck's wheels between these two rocks, and then the trailer will follow you around. And sometimes, most of the time, the legs of the trailer try to get snagged on this, or on this, or even on that one. But once you're past this bit, it's just a straight shot over the river. So this is the only difficult part. Come down, swing out to the right, and then swing round to the left. And here we are, after a very lovely, uneventful trip that barely used any fuel. That's another good thing about the P12. It's really fuel efficient. And here is our nemesis. So I'm going to spin the time on. We'll begin the journey in the morning. Here we are in the morning. Spent the night in the port. Now we need to hook into this giant trailer and get it all the way to Smithfield Dam. Okay. These legs look nice and high off the ground, don't they? Because that is where the hitbox is right there. That looks, I mean, it's almost level. That looks pretty good to me. The problem is our turning circle's a bit crap. It's a really long truck and it's a decently long trailer. Okay, deep breath. And here we go. I'm not envisaging us having any trouble getting to Smithfield Dam. The fun begins when we get there. Just about got it over the bridge. Jolly good. And this is going to need all-wheel drive, I believe. Better safe than sorry. Is the trailer going to make it round that corner? Have we got enough power to force it up and over these rocks? Apparently the answer to that is yes, we have. Power to weight and power are two entirely different things. You can have not very much power but be very light and still have an S-class power to weight like the Lodestar does. Doesn't mean it can pull something like this trailer. Now we're running into a problem here because that is as wide as I can take this corner with my truck. So I might have to try and pull the trailer around the corner by hooking into that tree. Yeah, just like that. There we go. That's the problem with the long truck. Just going to be careful up here because just over the bridge the road does narrow. So we might need to do the winch onto trees thing again to get the truck and the trailer around these tight twisty corners. Just take each corner either as wide as we can or as straight as we can, you know, cut the apex. This one we want to take wide if we can, just kind of kiss this and then don't let it hit that power line and then back the other way. Good, good. Don't need all-wheel drive anymore. And we're at the gateway. Okay, this is when the fun begins. Let's do it. First thing we're doing, detach the trailer. We need to get fueled up because we're turning left immediately. Here's the rest of the gang just chilling out here. Might as well repair ourselves, because why not? We may sustain some damage on the river crossing. Or now, if I reverse into that barrier. Okay, is everybody ready? Let's do this thing. Once we turn left, there ain't no going back. The only way to go back is to reset the mission from here. Haven't bothered to set any waypoints because it's just down the hill and over the river. We don't need waypoints. we just need a lot of luck and a little bit of skill. So we could be in trouble there. Take this bit slowly because it's a little bit lumpy bumpy. Just take it slowly, let it ride out the bumps. It's not top heavy. It wants to settle, so just let it settle. If it starts to go, just stop, let it settle, and then carry on. Don't use all-wheel drive for this bit, because gravity's going to do most of the work. I mean, it's so heavy that it's just... the inertia is just enormous. Just tickling the throttle, just enough to keep us moving. Put all-wheel drive back on when we're on the flat, so we can pull ourselves forward as well as push. Come on, my guy. Come on. I was going to say low gear diff lock, but diff lock's always on, so low gear wouldn't have really helped then. But it might have done, because it gets to its maximum torque much quicker than first gear does. He's dragging a huge heavy weight through mud. It's no wonder that the truck's not overly happy. Right, I think the trailer's out of the mud now. Now we need to swing as far out to the left as we can, because we need to get the truck and the trailer between this tree stump here and that house there. So as far left as we can, and then cut in. That is as far left as we can go, otherwise it would hit that tree stump. So we did as much of an angle as we could there. And now we need to go as far left as we can without hitting that birch tree. And then left. Okay, this is it. Moment of destiny. We're on the river crossing. We need to get the truck as far to the right as we can, and then cut left. That's as far right as we can go, because we do not want these wheels to go down there. If they do, it's going to be extraordinarily difficult to get them back off it again. So I'm just going to climb over this rock, and then climb over this rock. See, the wheels are trying to go, but there's nowhere more right for our truck to go. Let it settle, and then go. The rear wheels have made it over the lip. This is the first battle. Change your camera angle. Getting these rear wheels over that step is the first battle. Second battle, making sure that these legs don't ground on these rocks. But I think they've already cleared them. Oh, sweet lord, this never goes this well. I'm using the P12 every time for this, you know. From now on, that's it, P12 all the way. The higher leg position and me being really, really careful has made this much easier. Again, you just want to go straight, hope that the legs go over the rocks. It looks like they have, because the legs are just behind the rear wheels. Okay, this bit you need to be a little bit careful of, because it's a little bit dicey here as well. There we go. There we go. Oh my god, we've only made it. Wow. Wow, that never goes that well. Concentrate, we're not there yet. Need to get close to the flag, because that's the nicest bit of the island. Okay, last bit of the river crossing. This should be easy. I just need to take this slow, because you're stepping onto the rocks. But again, OHS2, big, wide, soft tyres, able to absorb impacts and clamber over rocks better than the stiffer OHD ones. And only marginally less grippy mechanically. And of course there's only one in the back instead of two, but it's slightly wider than one, so it's not that much worse off. Okay, next challenge, we need to turn left and stick as close as we can to the shoreline. Round this rock, pull the trailer up, and then left to a bit of a three-pointer here. Stick as close to these rocks as we can. The trailer's not overly happy. Can we hook the trailer onto something? Hook the back end onto that. Yeah, that looks good. Let's just do the... shit. The winch did not take. Now it has. Yeah, that's more like it. And then we'll just watch what the trailer's doing. Okay, it's actually trying to drag us backwards. Wow. Wow, that never goes that well. Yeah, that hill's a little too steep, but that's fine. I over-egged it anyway. It was just giving ourselves more room than we needed to get round these rocks. Come on, dude. Really? Who's stuck on what and why? Okay, we just built up a head of steam and then it moved. Okay, whatevs. Whatever, my guy. And through here, between this tree, try and avoid the mud. Not that mud really matters. It's OHS 2 and lots of power. And people say the P12 lacks power. No, you just lack driving skill. This is going to look cool. Boom, stage complete. Well, that was a thing. I need a rest after that. I cannot believe how well that river crossing went. It never goes that well. I always get stuck on these little rocks here. You know, the legs get stuck, but for the first time, that was actually the first time we tried it with the P12. I usually use the Ank Civ, but this thing's saddle is so high up in the air that it lifted the legs, so it just missed the rocks altogether, and we just drove straight over the river. I mean, it's more fun than taking the long route, and it's probably better, because this is horrible. That bridge is really dodgy. This corner is really dodgy. Getting it round that corner on the dam's really dodgy. Getting it up this hill's really dodgy. All this is really wet and sloppy. This is really narrow, with heavy camber because that house is down in a hole. So I think that's the best way to do that. Turn left down the hill over the river. That's amazing. Right, next time we'll finish Out With The Old, because I need to go and have a break after this. When else does Out With The Old need? Stage 2 metal beams, and then it's 1 oil rig drill. And that will be a whopping 1180 XP. Outstanding. I hope to see you again for that, and I hope you look after yourself until then. I'll see you later.